Καλησπέρα σε όλους και σε όλες. Ξεκινάμε σήμερα με την 8η σε σειρά και τελευταία διαδικτυακή μας διάλεξη, όπου η συγγήτρια για σήμερα είναι μία από τις ψυχολόγους του Ινστιτούτου μας, η κυρία Rodica Mateian, και της οποίας ο τίτλος εισήγησης είναι Psychological and Social Factors Involved in Substance Use for Children and Adolescents. Για διευκόλυνση όλων μας, θα υπάρχουν στο κάτω μέρος της οθόνης και υπότιτλοι στα αγγλικά, διότι η διάλεξη θα είναι στα αγγλικά. Και μετά θα δοθεί χρόνος για οποιοδήποτε σχόλιο έχετε να υποβάλλετε ή ερώτηση μέσω του chat είτε μέσω της ανάτασης χεριού που προσφέρει η εφαρμογή μας. Mrs. Rodica, thank you for participating in our online lectures, and you can start your presentation now.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for the presence of my literature tonight. I will share with you a study which was made in United States about psychological and social factors involving substance use for children and adolescents. But before of that, I want to present myself. I am a psychologist and psychotherapist in Bucharest, Romania. I work with children, adolescents, families, adults, and groups in my private practice in Bucharest. I work also with teachers and parents in a group of educational institutes, and I have a practice on groups of adults for education for children. So I will start with some statistical data which was made in Europe and also in United States about substance use in schools. On average, 1 in 6 school students reported having used an illicit drugs at least once in their life, with level varying across European states and USA range 4.2 and 29%. Cannabis is still the illicit drug most used in school students, also in Europe and United States. But non-medical use of prescription drugs among adolescents remains a concern also. United States has an institution that made this study in 2090 and was published in National Library of Medicine. And they identify a number of risk factors that includes in 3 categories, large categories, such as familiar risk factors, social risk factors, and individual risk factors. Familiar risk factors includes childhood maltreatment, include abuse and neglect in family or in relation with caretaker, parental or familiar substance abuse, marital status of parents, level of parental education, parent-child relationships, familiar socioeconomical status, and child perception that parents approve of their substance use. childhood maltreatment, including physical abuse and neglect, has been linked to increased risk for adolescent substance use, with one study reporting 29% of children who experienced maltreatment participating in some level of substance use, and another reporting 16% of maltreatment children abuse substance. Physical and sexual abuse is one of the most important familiar risk factor. The legal definition of physical child abuse entails any act that causes a child to experience physical harm that is not accidental. The effect of physical and sexual abuse, specifically on adolescents' behaviors regarding substance use, have been examined, with researchers consistently reporting a statistically significant relationship.
Excuse me, Mrs. Rodica.
Yes.
Excuse me, sorry for interrupting. I'm Isidora.
Yes.
I think the presentation is stuck at the first page, at least at my screen. So could you please stop sharing and share again with us? Because
yes.
we can see your slides.
Yes, yes. Sorry.
No problem.
I share again. I don't know why.
Now we see your screen again.
Yeah. Now?
We're still seeing your first slide. Could you click up the second one so we can see if it's changing?
Second is with statistical data.
But we can see it. If you're sharing the second one, we can see it. We still see the first one.
Oh my God. I don't know why, because I see at my screen correctly.
Did you press the full screen button?
Yes.
There's no need to press it because it isn't functioning, apparently. So without pressing it, just try changing the slides.
I don't know what.
Now we can see the slides. It's the third one.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll go from that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We talk about physical and sexual abuse. So, it's also evidence that higher level of illicit drugs use, including cocaine, heroin, and barbiturates, are also associated with physical and sexual abuse. Being a victim of physical or sexual assault increases the risk of adolescents getting involved with substance use from 2 to 4 times. Also, post-traumatic stress disorder is also associated with increased likelihood of developing a substance use disorder, particularly with marijuana or hard drugs, including LSD, cocaine, heroin, so on. Another familiar risk factor is psychological or emotional abuse. According to legal definition, emotional child abuse include a situation whereby a child's intellectual or psychological functioning or development is hindered. Research shows that experiencing emotional abuse can lead to increased risk for adolescents' substance use. Also, it's an interesting fact that witnessing violence can increase an adolescent's risk for developing abused substance, including marijuana used or hard drugs like another drugs. Another familiar factor is neglect, and the legal definition of child neglect includes any situation where a child's caregiver does not provide adequate living necessities, including protection, clothing, healthcare, and food. Studies have shown that victims of neglect are at increased risk for substance use. Additional research has begun to explore the effect of child neglect on adolescent brain development because children in adolescence are undergoing developmental changes. Neglect during this period can have long-term effects. Also, the study reveals that females are more affected than male for neglect in family. Another category of risk factor is social risk factors, and the study reveals include deviant peer relationships, popularity, bullying, and association with gangs. Social influences and familiar influences are often present in the same time. This interaction creates a complex system of risk factors that predicts adolescent substance use, which is important to take into consideration. The first social risk factor is deviant peer relationships. The influence of peers on teenage substance use often exists in the form of deviant peer relationships, wherein an adolescent associates with a group of people who use substances or in the form of perceived popularity. It is possible that a shared inclination to use drugs and alcohol attracts deviant individuals to form peer groups or that in order to gain social standing or join a group. Individuals are motivated to use substance and those form of deviant peer group. Entry into deviant peer groups has also been shown to be significantly associated with negative parent-child relationships, which can cause adolescents to seek deviant connection in their social sphere as a revenge. Parental involvement and respect for parents have been negatively associated with substance use. This is consistent with the aforementioned finding regarding positive parent-child relationship as a protective factor. Another social risk factor is peer pressure and popularity. Adolescents believe that their popularity within a peer group will increase with the use of substances. They are more likely to participate in such substance use. Adolescents who self-identify that as popular have shown to have increased prevalence of substance use, were compared to adolescents who do not identify this way. It is also a correlation between substance use and self-identification of popularity, than between substance use and popularity as assessed by peers. Bullying. The National Institute of Health define bullying as a series of interactions whereby a group or individual verbally or physically assault a victim who is perceived to be weaker. All adolescents who participate in bullying, whether they are aggressor or victim, or a combination of both roles, have been shown to have increased risk of mental health disorder or psychosocial problems when compared with those who do not participate. Research has revealed that playing the role of the bully has been positively associated with increased alcohol use. On the other way, being a victim of bullying has an inverse associated with alcohol use is direct associated with another form of substance use, including marijuana, inhalant, and hard drug used. This is consists with another study which found that victims of bullying were more likely to engage in substance use than uninvolved youth. Another social factor is gang affiliation. A legal definition of gangs is a group of 3 or more people that is defined by criminal behavior. The literature reveals significant positive association between gang affiliation and substance use, which has shown to exceed the influence of typical deviant peer groups. Gangs promote the cycle of substance use as the appeal of delinquent behavior can attract adolescents to a gang. And once membership is established, participation in the gang can foster further deviant behavior and substance use. Familiar factors have also been shown to have influence on gang involvement. Risk of substance use is facilitated by involvement with the gang and has been shown to decrease in the presence of positive parent-child relationships. Another category of risk factor is individual risk factors. In this study was mentioned individual risk factor are attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and depression, and also post-traumatic stress disorder or mental illness, and individual sexual orientation and ethnicity. This factor is more important for medical treatment, and is a discussion about the medication and tolerance, adolescents' tolerance of substance involved in their treatment. This was the factors, and how can we do in family and school for prevent this risk for our teenagers? First of all, we need to understand the needs of our children from early years. We need to use parenting and educational method based by love, respect, and consideration for all children. We need to connect and encourage children in their development in all fields of life, family, school, social and friendship area, and to preoccupy to grow self-respect, self-consideration, and auto-control. We need to promote good behavior and moral values from our lives. We are the first model for our children. I want to talk about about the principle of parenting, positive parenting and education. A few words about these things. The Adlerian psychologists were concerned to discover why some children become successful and others don't. They found that was clear regarding those differences. Children who succeed have close relationships with others, particularly their family, feel valued in their communities, and have a sense of control over some aspect of their lives. While children who are in trouble feel isolated, are useless to society, and powerless. The children in trouble are missing 4 important necessities to manage life's challenges. They are missing feeling connected to others, whatever is their family or the community. They are missing feeling capable to take care of themselves. They are missing feeling valuable, that they count, and that they matter, and that make a difference. They are missing courage. These 4 fundamentals are needed for children to feel that they can meet and manage the challenges of life. We name the crucial C's. What the crucial C's give children? Feeling that we connect, that we are capable, that we count, that we have courage, will go a long way to develop a positive attitude about life and give it meaning and purpose. If we ensure that our children feel connected, capable, and courageous, and they count as a valuable human being, they will take life on and make it work for them. They will develop a can-do kid mindset, and they will have the ability to handle whatever life throws at them. Kids who are have their needs met, the 4 crucial C's, become responsible, productive, cooperative, self-reliant, resilient, resourceful, contributing, and happy. Sorry. I want to talk about what mean feeling connecting. We are social beings and have to band together, and our ability to survive both physically or psychologically depends on our ability to connect to others. We move from being helpless babies, totally dependent on others, to independence with others. But as infants grow, they develop their capabilities away from total dependence toward becoming more independent. As children grow into toddlers, they experiment, make mistakes, and learn through trial and error. And the more capable they are allowed to feel, the more self-confident they become. A teenager who is confined and secure in their beliefs about belonging to others, in their family, feels connected. So they are able to cooperate because they don't feel afraid that they'll be rejected or isolated. They are more resilient to peer pressure and being drawn to gangs. and the wrong ground to feel connected. A child who connects in a constructive, healthy way, feels secure, can reach out to others, can make friends, and can cooperate easily. A child who doesn't feel connected in a constructive way feels insecure, isolated, and will seek attention and believe that any attention is better than none, and may be more susceptible to peer pressure. The second psychological needs is to feeling competent and capable. Child develop their competence and capabilities through being allowed to explore, experiment, and make mistakes. And they must be given the opportunity to be given real jobs and activities that are meaningful. We live in a busy, frenetic world, and parents are often in such a hurry that they rob their children of the opportunity to struggle a little to find in finding their lunchbox or putting on the shoes or their coat. Is often easier and certainly quicker to do it for them, but this mistaken way to helping children may have serious consequences long term. They often understand that I can't do it, I'm not capable to do it. An overprotected child may become overly dependent on others and may be afraid to be alone later in life, to make decision independently, or may become too confused that they may boss people around to get their needs met. Teenagers who are encouraged to feel competent and capable develop self-control and become self-reliant. They are able to take on responsibility and have equal, healthy, and respectful relationship with others. Whereas teens who are discouraged from feeling competent become risk takers. They are unsure of their own capabilities, and they may resist your attempt to guide them, feeling the need to prove themselves. They cannot be able to assume responsibilities. A child who feels incapable feels inadequate, and they try to control others, seek power, and often become defiant, and they may become too dependent. The third C is feeling significant, I count. We all like to feel that we matter, we count, we make a difference, and children are not different. A baby will soon learn that they are important, that they matter, that they are significant, and they count. Children who are encouraged to and appreciated learn that they count and that matter and are important. They learn to be self-reliant and has self-control. Whereas children, they are not made to feel significant, look for a way to feel valued in a more destructive way. Attention seeking, being unkind to siblings, provoking others, and seeking revenge to get their need for significance met. Teenagers who feel valued become more involved in school or communities activities and are conscious that they make a difference and can affect the world for the better. They are less likely to break the rules or avoid responsibilities. Whereas the teen who doesn't feel that they count behaves in more destructive ways, becoming sexually active earlier, getting involved in destructive behavior such as substance use, gangs, affiliation, thinking that what they do doesn't matter. A child who believes that they don't matter feels hurt, insignificant, and may try to hurt back, seek revenge, and or decide that making a negative impact is better than making no impact at all. And the last C is courage. Rudolf Dreikurs, the renowned Adlerian psychiatrist and parent educator, said that if we could give children only one quality to help them succeed and manage life, it would be courage. Toddlers are amazing as they show courage in everything that they do, from learning to work, to walk, to learning to talk, learning to climb, and so on. They show courage as they go from one mistake to another until they master that skill. That takes courage. Babies, infants, and toddlers experience frustration, disappointment, hurt, anger, and fear, just like we do. And we can admire them so much for their tenacity and to keep going. But that courage stands them in good stead for whole their lives. Children without courage focus on what they can't do. They give up and avoid situation. They miss out on life's wonderful experience through fear. A child who can do attitude, who shows courage, feels hopeful and optimistic, and is willing to try to have to go. They develop tenacity and resilience. They embrace life and with all its opportunities. Becoming a teenager is a challenging time. It's a time of confusions and uncertainty as teen feels between childhood and adulthood. There's the struggle for independence, peer pressure, understanding their sexuality, being surrounded by so many dilemmas, from recreational drug taking to gaming to online porn, to desire to fit in and not stand out and be different. It's a tough time, and they need a lot of courage to navigate the choppy waters of the teenage years. Teens who don't have courage blend into the background school, afraid to put their hand up in class, learn to play basketball or dance or another sports. They'll find it hard to resist the pressure to drink alcohol, take drugs, or join in unhealthy choices, as they won't be brave enough to say no. A child who is encouraged to be courageous feels the fear and does it anyway. They feel equal, confident, hopeful, and brave to try and make the good choices. They face challenging and become resilient, and they can stand alone if they have to. They believe that they can handle whatever life throws at them. Whereas a child who lacks courage can get over their fear. It controls them, and they feel defeated, hopeless, discouraged, and inferior. So, thank you. I